Hi everyone, this is Barbara Moore. It's March 31st, 2020. How is everybody doing today? And I'm on here for Catch Your Breath 60. I was diagnosed with COPD in 2015, and I had my first exacerbation a very short time later. I would end up having three to five major exacerbations before finally quitting work and starting Catch Your Breath 60. This is a open page. Anybody can come on here and anybody can comment. And I want you to know this. If I can't see your comments, I don't know who you are that are on. So please, for everybody who's coming on today, please just say hi in the comments and let me know that you're here. It's a matter of knowing that everybody is okay. So please, 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 even if you don't have anything to say, go to the comments and say hi, and then I'll know that you're here. So I was doing some surfing on the net, as most of us probably are these days, because, you know, we have multiples of time in our hands and nothing to really do with it, right? So I came across this article called How to Boost Mindfulness During the Coronavirus Outbreak of 2020. And I wanted to have a talk with you about it today. This is by Amelia Cruz, Kruse, and it was published on March 19th. Hi, Elaine. Thanks for popping in. I really appreciate you saying hi to me today. So coronavirus is a reason to panic, and we all know this because I think that we all did this panic probably last week. And we know that all around the world, coronavirus cases have been reported, and the whole world is right now on lockdown. Hi, Christine. Thank you for joining us today. I am so happy to say that there is finally good news today. The latest news reports, hi Peggy, the latest news reports say that 4,200 were healed in Italy in 24 hours, and there's no new cases in China for 3 days. So that's the start, and when we think about what the time frame was for China, that's when we can kind of have a better idea of what the time frame is going to be for us here in North America. I know we're not all from North America. I know that we have people that watch here from, you know, as far away as Australia, the other side of the world, New Zealand, England, Ireland. Hi, Jackie. Thank you for joining us today. Hi, Peggy. Good afternoon, Jackie. Hi, Sandra. Thank you for joining us today. Remember that if you don't say hi to me, I won't know that you're here. So please do, when you come on the screen, please say hi to me so at least I know that you're there. Hi, Gwen. I'm so glad that you joined us today. How are you making out? It must be so lonely being by yourself. I can't imagine. And so this is uncharted territory for everyone, and the virus continues to spread around the globe. Hi, Aubin. Thank you for joining us today. And we seem to be, there seems to be a whole lot of focus on the bad things that are happening. And so I want to talk to you about some of the good things that we can do for ourselves and use this time to the best benefit. Hi, Emily. Thank you for joining us today. Hi, Sandra. Anxiety is understandable, especially with those with chronic illnesses and pre-existing conditions. So I understand, Gwen, you must be so bored. I can't even imagine. There's probably just not enough on TV to watch, right? So if you have pre-existing conditions like COPD, fibromyalgia, diabetes, or heart problems, we have more reason to be concerned than the general population, say, right? Hi, Cynthia. Thank you for joining us today. So anxiety is understandable. Worry doesn't help, though. Giving into hysteria leads us to make bad decisions. and it makes everything worse. And I know this for a fact, because when I was first diagnosed, I gave into, hi Johanne and hi Marion, thank you for joining us today. When I was first diagnosed, I gave into a lot of anxiety. I knew nothing about taking care of myself. All I knew at that time was that I was a mother, a wife, a full-time employee, and I was doing a part-time business. Hi, Mary. Thank you for joining us today. So in order to take care of all of those hats that I was wearing, I couldn't possibly take care of myself. And when I got sick, the only thing that I could think of was, how am I going to manage this and all of that too? Oh, Kevin, you're watching. Thank you. Kevin's not home this afternoon. He just texted me and said so. But worry doesn't help anything, and it gives into hysteria, and it leads to very, very bad decisions. It leads to our conditions actually getting worse than they actually have to be. We're trying our best to be mindful and keep our composure. If we recognize this as an opportunity to slow down, if we recognize this opportunity if we recognize this time as an opportunity to slow down and connect with ourselves and our well-being, we're going to be in a much better place. But we must recognize this as being the opportunity to do so. And if you can't recognize this as being your opportunity to do so, well, I don't know, Kevin, you might be the only guy here. Sometimes Jeff comes on, and there's a couple of other followers that might come on later. Hi, Mary. So I don't know, Kevin, maybe you are. But we appreciate you being here today anyways. So if you can look at the opportunity that this has presented itself, right? Pollution has been eliminated. The air is clean now. And look, it's only taken a couple of weeks for this to happen. Who would have known that in a couple of weeks we could actually be looking at far less pollution? The canals are running clear and the dolphins are swimming there. Could you imagine? Holy smokes. This is a time for self-growth and self-care, and for paying attention to parts of ourselves and our relationships and our families. And those of us that are quarantined with our families, we kind of know more about each other now than we probably ever really wanted to know. I was laughing with my husband the other night because now it's just my husband and I here. My son has been ostracized to go live with somebody else because he can't sit still. And so it's just my husband in here, and I laughed the other night, and I said to him, imagine if we had the 6 adults in this house that we had 2 years ago. Things would have been much, much different than they are right now. Probably would have been more fun, but my husband and I are certainly having some alone time right now, and getting to know each other probably better than we ever really wanted to. But, it's our life, right? And excuse me, I know that most of us live this life anyways. We live a kind of a life of isolation, right? And so if you can use this time to look at the opportunities that are being presented to you, this is a time for self-growth, for self-care, for paying attention to the parts of ourselves and our relationships and our families. We should not be out of the house this week. Nobody should be out of their house. You should be in isolation, and you should be in quarantine, regardless of what other governments are saying. We know that this thing is spreading. Oh, Peggy, that's wonderful. Peggy says she started a boot camp for folks with COPD, a 42-day program by Noah Greenspan, and it's free. Thank you for telling us about that, Peggy. So, empowering yourself to be calmer and grounded in mindfulness as we continue to fight Corona-19. Jackie, you're sleeping a lot. And I hear this from a lot of people, right? You're either sleeping, you're eating, or you're watching TV. And that's pretty much what everybody do. It's really funny because Although we've kind of been watching TV a little bit more, we do kind of watch TV every night. We watch TV every night. And so that doesn't make much difference. I've been working, so that doesn't make much of a difference. And, but I hear other people saying, that they're raiding the fridge and they're binge eating and binge watching and all of this stuff. And I'm wondering why. It's such a good time to go within yourself and look within yourself, right? So a couple of things you can do. One of the things that we need to be doing right now is washing our hands. Oh, Evan, I hear you on that. You're not sleeping well at all or long enough, eh? Sometimes that's because we can't exert ourselves enough throughout the day, right? It happens to a lot of people just as they start to retire or, start winding down. Remember that if you're on this, I won't know that you're here unless you say hi in the comments. So Virginia, if you're here, please say hi in the comments. I'd really appreciate it so that I can say hi to you. So as we're washing hands, we could be practicing mindfulness by asking yourself how you are, because we're washing our hands for 20 to 40 seconds. So asking yourself how you are by purposely calming your breath and by slowing down and centering yourself. Ask yourself several times a day, how am I doing? Look at the different perspectives you will get to your goal of desired state. And your desired state should be calm mindfulness. Find what you're grateful for. Everybody has something that they're grateful for, whether it's the delivery that just left your groceries at the front door, whether it's and I know for me, it's not being able to see my grandchild is absolutely, I think everybody knows what this means to me to not see my grandson, right? But if that has to be the case, thank God for the internet. Thank God that he can Skype me every day and that his mother is willing to do that for him and me. Because, he's just a little gaffer. He doesn't understand it. He doesn't understand why Granny is on the computer that he's not allowed to use. He's never allowed to use a computer. And why does Granny keep saying stuff to him? And he doesn't really understand that you have to respond. You have to use your words to respond. So he's kind of just sitting there looking at me like I'm an idiot, right? So even if we can't see our grandchildren, we can actually be pretty close to them. And for a lot of people, this is their norm. So if this is not for you, consider yourself very, very lucky. I'm sorry, Jackie, what do you mean is my chef acting up? Mine is. What does that mean? So thank God for the internet, right? Thank God for Skyping. Thank God for we're actually not that very far from anybody, as long as we can, muster ourselves to make the decision to do the contact, right? No, Jackie, it's not, but you and I are in different places, right? So Jackie's talking about her congestive heart failure. And no, mine is not right now. And funny thing, because it's pretty damp and rainy here, so those are usually times when I really have a hard time. I tend to gain more, retain more water, and I tend to not be able to breathe as well, right? But it's funny, and I wrote about this the other day, but it's really not bothering me right now, and I don't know why. So find what you're grateful for. It doesn't matter what it is, how big or how small. Nothing stays the same, and this too is going to pass. During the slowdown, it's a great time to connect with ourselves and our surroundings, to go within and look at what we have and what we're made of, right? Nothing stays the same, and this too shall pass. So slow down, look into ourselves, learn to be self-reliant. Manage your inner critic and your emotions. Remember that inner critic, that that voice in your head that's always saying things like, oh, you're so stupid, or why would you do something like that? Manage that. Stop that. Stop saying those words. Don't let that inner critic talk to you that way. Learn to be self-reliant. Manage your inner critic and emotions. Engage in activities to keep us grounded. And our activities to keep us grounded are things like exercise and nutrition. These should still be our priority. And everybody should still be exercising every day and be watching what they're eating. And I know that this is a time when, like I said, people are really binge eating, and watching TV and eating unhealthy snacks. Don't get yourself into this cycle of doing that. It's not a good thing. Remember that carbohydrates turn to carbon dioxide, and it is a waste byproduct that we are supposed to be able to eliminate. But with poor lung function, we really should not be eating carbohydrates. And yes, Jackie, if you have congestive heart failure, you should not be drinking more than 6 glasses of liquid a day, 8 ounces. So make sure that you're cutting down as much as you can on water. So that's 2 glasses in the morning, whether you have your coffee, tea, and a glass of water with your meds. 2 in the afternoon, 2 at night, and sometimes a little bit extra water before you go to bed. But you've got to try and keep that water down for congestive heart failure, because if you don't, the diuretics can't take them out fast enough. So how many people are still dieting and exercising and watching their nutrition? I hope that that's you. When I'm talking about that, I really hope that that's you, because there's no point in letting things get out of control now. We know better, and we know what we should be doing. There's a million articles out there on mindfulness, self-care, and how to practice it, but you need to find what works for you. Have an observing mind and take notes of the results. So that gets into, this is a really good time to start your daily journal. If you're not journaling right now, this would be a really good time to start journaling in a daily journal, so that you know how well you're doing and how you're keeping yourself on, in a controlled environment. We can emerge from the pandemic not only healthy, but centered and connected. And if we can do this, we can all win. So that article was by How to Boost Mindfulness During the COVID Outbreak. And it was by Amelia Cruz, Kruse. And it was published March 19th, 2020. And I just wanted to bring that to you. If you are surfing the net, and if you're on the computer quite a bit, whether you have a phone or whether you have a computer, there's an awful lot out there for you to read. But like the article says, you have to find what works for you. For me, I can, when anxiety starts to hit, I can ground myself in mindfulness. And when I say ground myself, I mean I can look at something and concentrate on it. I can hear something and concentrate on it. I can feel something and concentrate on it. And I can speak something and concentrate on it. So one of the ways I know that no matter what kind of a short of breath I'm having, if I can still speak a sentence, I know it's not that bad. It might feel bad, but as long as I know that I can say a sentence, I know that it's not too bad. And usually, and I learned that from the ambulance as the exacerbations and going to hospital and so forth. They said, we always know how bad you are by how many words you can put into a sentence, and if you can complete a sentence. One of the tricks that have been around, and one of the best things that I heard, if you are afraid you have COVID, and to know that you don't have it, every morning when you get up, and you have to do this in the morning, you can't do it late at night, because as we go through our day and we do our exercise and so forth and we get tired, our breathing obviously just diminishes. So first thing in the morning, if you can take a deep breath, hold it for 10 seconds without coughing, you're okay. You don't have COVID-19. So as I'm holding true to that, and I believe it's true, because I know that times in the past when I've had issues with my lungs and so forth, breathing in is very, very hard. And if you can breathe in and hold it for 10 minutes without coughing, you're good. There's nothing wrong with you. So I hope everybody is keeping safe and warm. I don't know what's going on in the United States, but I know in Canada, the government has come up with some relief funding for businesses and people that have lost their jobs. We have grocery stores everywhere that are delivering to our door or have curbside pickup. So if you're afraid to go out for COVID-19, call your store and see if they will do a delivery for you. One of the major things that we need to do is we need to make sure that we get our drugs on time and that we get our food on time, right? So as long as we can have those two, and I'm sure that all drugstores, I don't know about in the States, but I know in Canada, all drugstores will deliver for you, or even if they didn't in the past, they're going to now. Most grocery stores will deliver, and if they won't, they will have curbside pickup. So that really helps us, right? So that we're not, we don't have a feeling of being without or not being able to get, because that's what causes a panic, right? Oh, good for you, Kevin. So Kevin says the U.S. government is sending each citizen $1,200 minimum. In Canada, we have to apply for it, and it's only for those people that have a job that is not being able to open, or is if they've lost their job because of COVID-19. So that's a little bit different. So that's interesting. Kevin, that's the first I've heard of it, so I'm glad that you told us here. It'll help everybody get a little bit, the markets have gone down. I don't have a whole lot of investments, but I have a few investments, and the markets have gone down, and they kind of tanked. And I was like, oh my God, I worked so hard on that. But they will come back up, and as soon as this is over. So in Ontario, Canada, good for you, Kevin. That's great. And that's the problem with a lot of businesses in Ontario and in Canada. In Ontario, the kids won't be going back until the earliest May 6th. So that's going to, cause some issues with, especially kids that are graduating from grade 8 to grade 12, but also those that are graduating from grade 12 into university or college, right? So it's going to make a big difference for those people. So that's how it pretty much stands for today, March 31st, 2020. And who knows, I think another month or two and we're going to be back past the worst of it. But for now, please stay calm. Please stay mindful. Please center yourself. Find out what you need. Find out what you're grateful for. Start your journal today, because this is something that you can leave for your grandchildren. And even though they've been through it, some of them might not remember. They might not have journaled. So start your journal today and write down the stuff that is very important to you. We will come out of this COVID-19 much stronger. I know I didn't, sorry, but I don't think I can give it to you, Kevin. I don't think you can get it over the internet. So I think that we're going to come out of COVID-19 much stronger and wiser. And I'm really proud of the people that follow me, that nobody has actually said, I really need to talk to you, or anything. So I really, really appreciate the fact that you are staying well. Hi, Evelyn. Thank you for joining us today. I really, really appreciate the fact that everybody is staying well and that you are staying mindful. Remember that you can always text me at catchyourbreath60@gmail.com, or you could message me anytime, and I've always got time to talk to you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today on March 31st, 2020. I appreciate each and every one of you that has popped in today. Please say hello in the comments so that I'll know that you were here. This is Barbara Moore signing off for Catch Your Breath 60 on March 31st.